Hey there, I'm Genny Perez. I'm a wife, mom, and small business owner. And although I love being all of those things, I'm at the point where I feel like there's something more to life outside of those roles. Does that sound like you? If you're in search of that extra magic, craving a dose of positivity, purpose, and real talk on being worthy, capable, and able, you're in the right place. Let's kick off this journey together, ignite that spark, radiate some positivity, and discover what makes your life and business truly shine. Ready to jump in? Let's spark some radiance together. Hello and welcome to the Sparking Radiance podcast. My name is Genny Perez and this is episode number 1. And let me begin by just first thanking you for joining me on this journey. Today we'll talk a little bit about how this journey began, where I envision it ongoing, and just the excitement that I have inside to be able to share it with you. First of all, let me begin by explaining who I am. Let me introduce myself briefly. So my name is Genny Perez, as I mentioned before. I am a mother of 2 small children. I am a wife of 10 years plus, and I am also a small business owner who wears multiple hats. A few months back, my husband and I had switched offices, and my commute went from 7 minutes to 30 minutes one way. And that was a huge adjustment for me because I was used to being from door to door in 7 minutes to now adding 30 minutes. So one way, which would make my commute an hour, carved out an hour in my day. And so at first what I did was I tried to use that time to catch up with friends and family and, reach out, make calls. Unfortunately, because of my time zone that I'm in, I wasn't able to make too many contacts. I was just leaving a lot of voice messages. And my husband had suggested that I try podcasting. So initially, I started looking up some podcasts through one podcaster to another. I eventually found one that I absolutely adored. And from there, I've just kind of been on this journey, and I've gotten so much positivity and so much help in the mindset space with being a small business owner, and not so much with business, but just in general, in life, in attitude, in, better ways I can be a mother or wife. There's so many different topics that, you can just uncover. My podcast time, or what I call my time, has actually become one of my favorite parts of the day. Sometimes it's pretty funny. My husband might call me and I will answer and I will say, why are you calling me during my time? Because it's my time to just grow and reflect and open my mind. Unfortunately, what I've found, in my years here on this earth is that this world and this earth is just a tough place. And so many of us are just beaten up. We get beaten up every day by pressures, whether it be from our family, whether it be from our jobs, our businesses, our peers. So after a few months of just going from podcasting to books to, just it opening up my eyes into such a bigger world, I just had this thought in my mind, what if there are so many other people like me that need that dose of positivity, that have a spark or a light within them that has been dimmed? It's been dimmed by the circumstances of this world, the circumstances of this life, things that are not within our control, and even the things that are within our control, how are we maximizing them and things like that. I just had this voice come to me, and it kind of pestered, and it said, Genny, you have the power to be able to speak to people. You have the power. There's so many other people like you. And the voice told me, Genny, what if you can impact one person? What if you can motivate one person. And that voice kept pestering me. And I genuinely would say, no, I can't. This is too much work. Why do I want to add something more onto my plate? Why? I'm not good. I'm not good with technology. I had all these doubts within my mind. I'm not good with technology. I don't have that much time as it is. What am I going to say? Right? But that voice kept coming back, and that voice kept saying, no, Genny, you need to go through with this. And I just kept hearing it. And so that was the start or the spark that was within me to start the Sparking Radiance podcast. This is episode number 1, guys. Is this episode going to be perfect? Absolutely not. And trust me, it's been weeks in the making. Actually, I could say months in the making. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But first, let me begin by saying, who is this podcast for? I envision and I see this podcast for somebody that would be listening that may be in a situation where, they are lacking positivity, that they have this light within them, this purpose within them that needs to be watered, that needs to be motivated, that needs to be filled. I believe that we all have a light within us. And my goal with this podcast is to go along on a journey of growth, enrichment, and it's going to be through trial and error. Let's be honest. I'm not perfect, nor are you listening to me, which is great, which makes this journey that we're going to go on together so fulfilling, right? In that we can see where we start at point A to point B and where this will take us. Again, not going to be perfect. And that's a challenge that I've noticed within myself in my growth journey, is that everything is not going to be perfect. And I have to remind myself, Genny, things cannot be perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect life. We all have things going on. We all have hurts. We all have wants. We all have needs. And I'm going to be very general on this first episode, just because I just want to get across the magnitude of where I envision this going, who I would like to go along this journey with. Let me mention some of the topics that I would like to explore with this podcast. Confidence, fear, taking steps, growth, yeah, just to kind of name a few. But I want to start by saying that I have 2 young children. I have 2 daughters. And part of me, when I see my daughters, I see confidence in them. I see confidence and light and love and all of the things that are beautiful radiate from them. And it reminds me, and I hope that it would also remind you too, of think about the time when you were a child. And I think we have to reflect on that, because when I see my daughters and I see the confidence that they carry, I have a young daughter that says confidently, when you ask her, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And she will confidently tell you, I want to be a singer. My other daughter will also confidently say, Mom, I want to be a cheerleader. And just the confidence and the belief that they have not been jaded by this world yet. But I also think that within each of us, we all still have that inner child. And I think a lot of times we have to remind ourselves of the confidence that we have within us, that we carried as children before the world jaded us. Together, let's go back to that confidence. Let's remind ourselves of those feelings that we had as young children, where the world was genuinely our oyster, right? It was there for us to explore. Those feelings of just radiance, My goal is that we grow together and remind ourselves, reflect on those past times. Can I be honest? Fear does not want me to do this. Fear is holding me back. Fear is telling me that I'm not perfect. Fear is telling me that I won't have anything of impact to say. And I'm being honest, and I am telling you this because fear also lies within you. Fear is always going to be there in anything we do. And it's just innately built into us to protect us, right? But fear can also hold us back. Fear and I have had a battle these last few months. Fear would plant doubts within me. Genny, you can't do this. Genny, you can't take this on. Genny, you're terrible at technology. Genny, you just can't. It would just freeze me, fear. But I'm taking the first step, guys. And I think with this first episode, I want to encourage you to also take the first step. What is it that's holding you back? Is it fear? A lot of times our self-doubt, our lack of thinking we are not prepared is just genuinely fear. We're fearful of what others are going to think of you, right? Like, who are they to do this, right? But the thing is, I have to remind fear that this isn't for me and this isn't for them. This is for those who, again, are wanting to spark that radiance. So I'm encouraging you to think about what is the first step for you? What does that look like? What is fear telling you? How can you counter the fear? One thing I will tell you is that fear will always be there. Fear is going nowhere. You can talk to the most successful person in the world, and they also carry fear. The only difference between them and us is that they've learned how to coexist with fear, to know when to listen to it and when not to, and when to go along with it, right? And the way I kind of see it is fear is just basically in the car with us. They're the passenger, but we are the drivers. And yes, they are going to caution us. They are going to slow us down. But we also have to remember that we are the drivers. We coexist with fear. So by taking the first step, what is fear telling you? What is it holding you back from? Is it holding you back from maybe looking for another career? Is it holding you back from possibly making healthier, food choices? We are in the beginning of the year, and now is a time when people kind of set new goals for themselves or reflect anew. Is fear, holding you back from taking the first step of maybe starting the business that you wanted to do, pursuing a passion, whether it be singing, art, sales, whatever it may be? I'm taking the first step, guys. This is the first step with creating the Sparking Radiance podcast. And I want to encourage you to do the same. Here's what I will tell you. You will never be 100% ready. Never. There is no such thing. And if you think you are, you'll just realize that you were not 100% ready. For someone like myself, this was a huge hurdle. I had to tell myself, if I do not do this, even start this, I will not complete this. And so here I am recording this first episode, talking to you imperfectly. But my goal of this message is that you also will take that first step. It does not have to be 100% perfect or 100% ready. All it has to be is a little over 50% to get yourself started. And really, it's just taking that first step to get the momentum going, right? And here we are in the beginning of the year, and we're all looking to possibly, make healthier choices, start exercising, taking a little bit of time for ourselves. In order for it to come through, we have to take the first step. Take the first step outside. Take the first step of that first walk. It's just taking the first step. And I want to encourage those of you that are listening. What is the first step that you need to take? Maybe it's going back to school. Maybe it's pursuing an education. Maybe it's, maybe thinking of starting a family, pursuing love, right? Taking that first step. You have to, in order for things to proceed, you have to make yourself vulnerable. Vulnerable to be comfortable with fear. Vulnerable to be open to the uncomfortable, right? Here's one thing that I've learned is that in order to start, you have to start before you are ready. And the reason why is because if you do not, you will never be ready to start. So my advice to you is to start. So whatever that first step is, take it. Start before you are ready. Another thing that I've recently learned with fear is that sometimes fear is there because we have to lean into it. Now hear me out. I'm like, Genny, wait, fear is supposed to protect us, keep us away, right? No. I think sometimes, I'm actually going to tell you the opposite. Sometimes when we sense fear, it's because we are supposed to lean into it. It feels uncomfortable. And in that uncomfortable moment is where we find growth. Fear is trying to keep us away from growth at times. So my encouragement to you today in taking that first step, lean into that fear, lean into that doubt. Because what happens is when you lean into it and you overcome it, that is where you will find growth, right? That is where you become or in the process of becoming the person that took that first step, that took initiative, that started before they were ready, that did something. So when we're taking that first step, how do we overcome fear? How do we overcome those negative thoughts? The first thing that I want you to do when taking that first step is to write the step down. What is it that we need to write down? And I will tell you that when you write that first step, you are going to get a negative thought or you are going to get fear initially following right behind it. What I would like you to do is that I would like you to notice and acknowledge the thought. What is that thought? You're not good enough. You're not prepared enough. You are not pretty or handsome enough, right? Write it down. Know that fear or that negative thought is going to come right behind it and acknowledge it. Then I want you to forgive the thought. Forgive the thought because the thought is there to protect you, right? See it in a positive light in that it is there to guard you. But just remember that the fact that it's there, it may not necessarily be guarding you, but take it in a positive light and forgive the thought. You write it down, you get the negative thought, you forgive that thought in order to move on. The next thing I want you to do is to choose again. So choose a different thought to replace or counter that thought, right? And a counter to I'm not ready is, well, when will I ever be ready? There is no perfect time, right? Or I'm not good enough. We can counter it with I'm not good enough unless I try, right? How do I know I'm not good enough if I've never tried? And when we choose a different thought to counter the negative thought, it then allows us to build some confidence to create action, to create movement, right? The only way that we're going to be able to take confidence or create confidence is to take action, to take that first step. So here we are, episode number 1. I'm taking the first step. I'm recording this episode. I also want you to take the first step. And I want to see, what is that first step for you? What do we need to write down? How do we need to counter that fear? And I'm so excited. I want you guys to send me messages. What is that first step that you've been holding back on doing? Send me a message. Let me know. I want to be able to encourage you along the way. Because I know we all have different first steps, right? So this particular first episode is just a hello, a welcome, let's go, let's get it. That light in you is ready to come out. It's ready to shine. And I am so excited to be able to be a part of that journey, to help us grow together and us to brightly light those lights, as I say imperfectly, right? And I think for me, this is a way for me to be not perfect, right? It's a way for me to be able to spark within you whatever it is that you need to be sparked with. So where is this journey going to take us, guys? Here's what I envision with the Sparking Radiance podcast. In my realm, I have a realm of people that I know and love and respect. I have quite a few people that I would love to interview. Small business owners, mothers, teachers, professionals, healthcare professionals. I think we can learn so much, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something that we are exactly alike. We can learn from other walks of life, other age groups, right? So I envision us, interviewing some really great people, and maybe we meet people through people, right? Here's what I envision for us in the upcoming. I envision us growing together. I envision us sparking the light within, through growth and through light and through love and through conquering fear, taking first steps. This initial podcast was a little bit all over the place, and that's okay. But guess what? You're listening. I have your attention. We're growing together. Here's what I'd like you to do. Here's a little bit of homework. My goal is to have an episode out every week. That's my goal, right? And that's with me being imperfectly done, right? But your homework is to take that first step. I want you to write something down. I want you to listen to that little voice inside of you that's been saying, hey, I want you to explore this career. I want to explore this business. I want you to ask this person out, right? It could be that. Take the first step, write it down, counter that first initial negative thought with a positive, and take action. Do something about it, right? For some of us, it's just simply writing it down and taking the first step. Guys, I don't know. I just have a positive feeling about this. I have a positive feeling that you and I are going to grow together. Some of us directly, right? Some of you are my really close people. Some of us indirectly, maybe we'll meet in the future. I'm going to throw that out to the universe, and I'm going to attract that. And I just genuinely want to thank you for coming along with me on this journey. I'm excited to see the growth that's going to happen within you. I'm excited that you're going to take that first step. I definitely don't forget to message me those first steps, because I'm excited to hear and see what they are. And I would love to nurture and water on that. And I'm just excited to see a lot of you get that spark back, right? The spark that you had as a child, that confidence, that light. I'm excited to see that come to fruition. And this is going to be exciting. We're going to explore some ups. We're going to explore some downs. I'll be honest, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. Let's figure it out together. Let's grow together. Let's make the start. And like, this is a perfect example of an episode that does not have to be perfect. It just has to be done. If I would have waited for perfect, you wouldn't have heard the message that you needed to hear today. And that's not fair to you that I would have taken that from you. So guys, let's go. Let's get this journey started together. I'm so excited. I genuinely am excited to grow with you. Let's continue sparking that radiance. You hear that clap? That's me cheering you on for completing another episode. I don't know about you, but man, that was quick. If you like what you heard, hit the subscribe button or share the episode with someone you think that might need a little spark. And help us grow by leaving a review. Remember, keep sparking that radiance from within. Until next time, shine on!